Too late. Now the story begins with this couple, Miraje, Zafar. Honestly, with a name like Zafar, anything that resembles a Disney villain is automatically a red flag. And Arnima, Hyat. The couple got married in October of 2021 in a private Islamic ceremony. It would be my private, like none of their friends nor family were in attendance. And shortly after their wedding, that's when Arnima started regretting her marriage. Because after they got married, the honeymoon phase was over with and then became the abusive phase. Now Zafar, he did every kind of abuse you can think of. He'd be emotionally abusive, psychologically abusive, even physically abusive. He even told her at times that he would take her off the census. Now I said this in previous videos before, but the behaviors that Zafar is exhibiting is known as intimate terrorism. Now what intimate terrorism is when a person tries to exert total control over their partner and uses different methods, which includes physical violence. And everything they do is cold and calculated. Now Arnima, she wasn't one of these people that kept quiet about it. She actually told her friends about all the abuse that was taking place, in which she was able to go to the courts and obtain an apprehended violence order, or an AVO. Now, if you live in America, you don't know what an apprehended violence order is. It's the same thing as a protective order. Now, an AVO is given out when a person feels they need protection from somebody else, whether it's from physical harm, physical attacks, stalking, or threats. Now, the order is given to protect you or your dependent. And another thing about an apprehended violence order is that it also protects property damage. Now this is one reason why you need really good friends in your life, because Arnima had texted a friend saying that she had nobody but them, in which that friend would reply back by saying that you have no choice but to stay with him. Now I'll be honest, that's the most messed up thing to say to a friend. Now the very next day after she sent that text message on January 29th of 2022, Zafar would go to Arnima's apartment, and that's when a confrontation would occur. And during the confrontation, he would go ahead and end her life. Now, they wasn't able to determine if she was smothered or strangled based on what he did to her body afterwards. And this is why I said that he took a page from off of Breaking Bad, because he would get on the one website that gets everybody in trouble, which is Google. In which he would Google, can hydrochloric acid burn through skin? In which he would look this up multiple times. Zafar would then drive over to a home improvement store and buy over 5 20-liter tubs of acid. And when I first read this, I thought it was just a typo that they say home improvement store, but it turned out to be true. You can actually buy hydrochloric acid at a home improvement store. It would take him 2 trips to transport 5 20-liter tubs of acid back to the apartment. And when he got back to the apartment, he would place Arnima's body into the bathtub and dump all of that acid on top of her. And then after he would dump all of that acid on top of her, he would call his mother and tell her that him and Arnima got into an argument and that something happened. So in a way, he kind of downplayed what he actually did. So his mother would call the emergency hotline, where she would tell him that her son and his wife got into an argument and she is no longer breathing. So when officers arrived at the residence, they have noticed that Zafar had left. They noticed there was a smell of chemicals in the air. So they would follow the smell of the chemicals, which led them to the bathroom, and that's where they found the body of Arnima. And by the time the police had got there, they weren't able to identify her just because the chemicals started working and started breaking down her body. The police had to run a DNA test just to